So I have this really awesome sermon prepared, but I don't think you're going to hear it today because something happened this morning that got me thinking, and so bear with me because I wanted to share with you what it made me think about. So this morning we have our Easter dawn service, right? My alarm didn't go off, by the way. Yeah, nope, didn't go off, set for 4:30, woke up at 5:30, thank God, and went, I need to be at Lido Beach. And I need to get dressed and grab the stuff for communion and do all this. And I took a deep breath, and guess what? Easter happened anyway. And so I get to Lido Beach, and we're all there, and there's this great crowd. Now, the church, the Presbyterian Church and the United Methodist Church and the Lutheran Church have been getting together at Lido Beach for many, many decades now. And every year there's a giant cross. And somebody comes and they carry in the cross and they dig a hole and they put the cross in the hole and we gather the communion around it and we worship. And so we get there and there's no cross. Easter happened anyway. So we start the service. And there's Jerry Jimmy over in the corner jumping on a piece of wood. And I'm going to be honest. We're starting the service. We're singing. And I'm looking at him like, what is he doing? We started. Dude, get over here. What is going on? Trying to send him like mental beams through my eyeballs, staring him down. Come back to the worship service. So I get about a quarter of the way in. And there comes Jerry with a cross over his shoulder, digging a hole. There goes the cross, right? Where did this come from? This is not the cross that we normally have. And so afterwards I said, Jerry, how did you do that? What did you do? He said, well, I found some wood. God provided that. And there were even nails in it. And then I guess God just worked through my hands. Okay, that's what God did. God just worked through your hands. And in doing so, you created this visible sign, this symbol for people to see, to say, God is here. Because there's a symbol of that. I can see it and I can say, God is here and something amazing is here. You created that visual because God worked through your hands. And then as I'm sitting here looking out at all of you and looking at all of this artwork around us and the blossoms and the trees, and I'm looking at Patty, and I'm looking at Jen, and I'm looking at Gabrielle, and I'm thinking, wow, God really worked through their hands. That's incredible to do something amazing and create these visual signs, these symbols that point to God and say something incredible has happened here. Some of you know, and some of you don't, that this is the 10-year anniversary of the time when this church decided not to close. Founded in 1930, this church saw many highs and lows, and 10 years ago it looked like nothing was going to happen. The doors were going to be closed, the people that were here were going to find a new place and a new purpose, and we'd sell the building to somebody. And then there were a handful of people that said, we don't think that God's done. We're resurrection people. We need God to work through our hands. And here we are 10 years later in a vibrant place that's a symbol of faith for so many, for people who come and worship, for people who walk by, for people who drive by, who can point and say, that's a symbol that God is at work in the world. And not just this symbol here, but also the food that we make that goes and feeds people who are hungry, the quilts that are sewn that travel all over the world to places where people have lost literally everything. And then they're enfolded in God's love that was sown here. That's incredible. And then I look at you, each and every single one of you, all standing testaments, symbols, realities that God is still at work in the world, that there is something good and holy happening here. See, Easter is the day that we celebrate resurrection, when we celebrate the impossible, when we celebrate hope. It's the day we look through the window and all the death things in the world, all the death-dealing powers and principalities, all the evil that's out there, all the things that continually try to push us down and say, no, don't do that, don't go this way, I'm stopping you, you're not good enough, you're not forgiven, you're not this, you're not that, you're all going to die, deal. On Easter, on Resurrection Sunday, God says, wait. I have something more. I have something more to give you. I have life. And if you think that that life is not for you, that you are too far gone, that your doors are about to close, that you didn't wake up on time and you missed the boat, that somehow your hands are a little too gnarled or broken to do good in the world, I'm going to tell you right now you're wrong. The resurrection is for you. It's for you now. And here, in this moment, it is the hope of the resurrection that brings about healing. It is the hope of the resurrection that brings about community. It is the hope of the resurrection that brings about faith. It is the hope of the resurrection that makes life happen. It's what makes us more. And it's what inspires us for something greater. It's not just a day. It's not just a thing that happened a long time ago. It's now. And it's you. Jesus is constantly being resurrected in your life again and again and again and again and again and again. So don't give up. Don't give up. Because you are the witness. You are the testament. You are the one with the tale, just like the women running from the tomb that day, that people need to see, that people need to hear. To know that there is good in this world and that God is not finished with us yet. Amen? Amen. Amen.